Greetings, freaks and folks, this is Vlad and welcome back to another champion reveal and my reaction to it. By the way, I'm leaving work early every day now that we have those daily releases, so give me a like for effort, so I can provide you on time with those kinds of reactions and to talk about these cards afterwards, and how viable they are or not. I have no clue what Xerath will do. I know that he is a mage, because he is a Magus Ascendant. And he's probably a part of Targon. I think he would fit in theme-wise into Targon. And I guess he would be like, I don't know, 5-mana champion, 4-mana champion, somewhere around that. So these are my assumptions, and without any further talking, let's actually dive into this trailer together and let's check this bad boy out.
I have awakened to my great purpose.
Sounds like a purpose. 4 mana, I knew it. Oh, but he's Shurima. Okay, so no Targon. He's an Ascendant. He is an Ascendant. I said it some seconds ago. Yes, but he's actually also theme-wise for the keyboard in Ascendant, which means he can level up 3 times if he is like the other Ascendants as well. That's my best assumption, and also he will be leveled up by the spell. We have the 7-mana spell that will level all Ascendant. But let's read what he does. He's a 3/3 body. Is okay-ish for this mana cost. And he says, when an allied landmark is destroyed, deal 1 to the weakest enemy. That's some sweet interaction there. Like with all these countdown landmarks that we have, I'm hitting my microphone, and with all these, I mean, we also have this grant vulnerable to something, right? Is it Rockhopper? I think it's Rockhopper called. The guy who summons these landmarks that grant vulnerable to unit, the next enemy unit that gets summoned. And when we do this, we destroy the landmark and we deal 1 to the weakest enemy. So probably this is even a combo where the enemy isn't even able to play a unit with 1 HP if he has no other than the board, because then this will be the weakest unit and will die right away. But anyways, let's read on here. He has a level up condition, which says you have destroyed 4 landmarks this game. This is such an easy requirement to meet, considering we have Rockhopper and also this 3-mana burst speed that summons 2 of these vulnerable landmarks, and also this landmark that draws you 2, I don't know the name, I will have it here. All these cards, they will speed up Xerath so quickly.
This tiny thing is supposed to stop me.
Yeah, exactly that. There
I will not give you peace.
Oh, there's a new follower. The last breath effect. I think we'll see that in a second. So we see him die. What happens? Oh, he has last breath.
I brought the darkness.
Now I'll bring the doom.
Yeah, create another landmark on last breath. Let's see what this does here. It's the Rite of the Arcane. It's probably a spell from Xerath. My best guess, a 3-mana slow speed spell. It says destroy an allied landmark or one of your mana gems to deal 4 to an enemy unit. So yet again, a Rite, yeah. I have to, process the things that I'm reading out loud. Because of the rights, we have the right of calling, and we have the right of negation. And this is the right of the arcane, so every ascendant has its own right, and this is the one of Xerath. And we also always, with these rights, we have the possibility to destroy a mana gem, as opposed to destroy whatever. We then have a second option for that. And the other option would be to destroy an allied landmark. I think it's a very good card in the sense that for 3 mana slow speed we can deal 4 damage, but it's only 2 units. It's very important to notice here, but 4 is a lot for 3 mana, and this requirement, killing an allied landmark, is not that hard to pull off, especially if you have a champion that wants you to kill your landmarks, right?
Creature. Pitiful. None dare stop me.
Second time's worse.
Alright, a landmark that creates you a 5/3 with fearsome. Countdown 3, that's what I saw there. Oh, I guess this is a revive spell. Let's see here. The Servitude of Desolation. It's a burst speed spell for 7 mana, and it's epic. It says summon a status statue to store all allied units and landmarks that died or were destroyed this round inside. What? What? This is a counter ruination. Or this is a... yeah, every kind of board wipe that the enemy has ready for you. You play the spell and you just negate it. And you have all these units back in your status statue. This is 1 mana landmark that will have counter on 1, and on the next turn you have them all back.
As I will.
And what was that? Sorry, I have to stop here and there. It's the Obelisk of Power. It's a 1 mana landmark from Shurima. So, even more landmarks for Shurima. It says counter on 3, or when I'm summoned or destroyed, grant the strongest ally +2 attack. Do you want to main deck this? Because I just grant you the strongest ally. You can't even target anything, right? You have to boost up your strongest ally with 2 attack, and then... but you get the landmark effect out of it. But the fact that it can be destroyed is really powerful, in my opinion. So you can use this spell that we saw prior.
See how I command them.
Alright, it's I read that wrong, I think. It's on summon +2 attack, and then when it's destroyed +2 attack. So it's actually better than I thought.
Today I am
Feeling great! Here comes the level up.
Unlimited power, mine to control.
Oh, he's huge though. Was it a human there that was electroluting? We have Xerath, the Ascendant, but it's probably not the level 3 option there, because normally it says level 2, right? And it says when an allied landmark is destroyed, deal 3 to the weakest enemy instead of 1. Okay, so it has another level up, never mind. He has 3 levels. So we will have another level up animation there. Yeah, so if you have restored the Sun Disk, it's the same thing like all the Ascendants with the level 3 form. Let's see what this is. Of course you have all the Ascendants there in your prediction.
Betrayal buried Shurima. Hope revived it. So says the betrayer.
And another burst speed spell. It says 3 mana burst speed, give an ally +2/+1 this round, or destroy an allied landmark to give an ally +4/+2 this round. What? A +4/+2? I mean, the +2/+1 is pretty weak, but the +4/+2/+3 mana, and you can't even interact with it. You just destroy your landmark right away. So that's a decent card. For sure.
I will unmake you.
Yeah, especially with this ability of Xerath. Holy guacamole. Cut that.
Bear witness to the only true ascendant.
It's probably an animation that we see very rarely in the game, because Mono Shurima sucks. But we saw it here, and it was great. Sanai is a 5/9 body, and it says round start, deal 5 to the weakest enemy and the enemy nexus. Why not? If an enemy unit would die, obliterate instead. Whoa, dude. I mean, theme-wise, this is just so awesome. It's just electrocuting everybody to and blast it into obliteration, as opposed to send them to the graveyard. But dude, every round start you deal 5 to the enemy nexus and the weakest enemy. Yeah, why not? So it's a hell of a finisher. So there's a 4 round minimum where the enemy dies, basically.
My will is law.
Yeah, cut these level of Nasus. Nobody cares for that.
No one will remember you.
Oh, okay. Those are the was just skipping and killing the enemy by a Xerath the Ascended level 3. Pretty sick. Yeah, like I said, unfortunately, there won't be a lot of situations where we will see Xerath. But the fact that this is a 4 mana is very important. We have Azir on 3 mana, Renekton of 4. Yeah, he actually can't curve out, so you probably want to run him with Azir. And maybe with Renekton even, I don't know. Or Azir or Xerath. Like, the important thing is, if you want to run Mono Shurima and you want to level up your Restored Sundisk, you basically do this with leveled up Ascendants, so when Ascendants go from level 1 to 2. Because with that you progress the Sundisk by 10, which is the most reliable way to restore the Sundisk. Yeah, we'll definitely try to build with this guy for sure in the Mono Shurima deck. That will fail miserably then, but it will be a lot of fun with all the matches where we actually get to level 3 and we get to obliterate all our enemies into obliteration. Yeah, so let's see on here. We have the Endless Devout, which is a 3-mana 3/3, really solid stat line. Basically the vanilla stat line, and gives you, upon Last Breath effect, the Sarcophagus, which is this 1-mana landmark count on 3, and then gives you a Restored Devout, which is this other 5/3 with Fearsome that we saw earlier. Hard to rate this card. I have to go back and see the synergies that we could have with that. Last Breath is always makes me think of Gluttony, where we can pull out something of our deck if we kill in Last Breath units. But we have, for Last Breath 3 mana, we have the Undying. It's probably the best card, so maybe not a very good card with Gluttony. But with the Xerath and also with maybe Talia even, this could be a pretty solid thing to have. Just doubling up on the Sarcophagus to have then 2 5/3s with Fearsome is quite scary. Alright, then we have the Rite of the Arcane that we talked about. Really solid damage spell here for 3 mana always. It's not like the Tristana spell, it sometimes costs 4, right? And then you do 3 damage. You pay 3 and you do 4 damage. This is way better. And if you don't have the landmark to destroy, which you have probably most of the time in decks like this where you use this card, you just destroy one of your mana gems and then you're good to go. I mean, the past showed that it's not that big of an issue to have one less mana gem if you look into decks that use Rite of Negation, where you almost always not kill your own unit, but you destroy one of your mana gems in order to counter something. And deal 4 to an enemy unit is pretty significant. You can kill a whole lot, like I think around 50% or even more of the champions that exist with this card. So yeah, decent card in that regard. This Servitude of Desolation is most of the time maybe a 1-off or even a 2-off sometimes against, if we have very control heavy metas. Other than that, you could... I was thinking of Harrowing plus this card, but you don't have the mana for it. So maybe there's even a way where we can self-sacrifice very significant units and we can then revive them with this particular spell. And also we get back all these landmarks that may be counted down in the very round. So this has a lot of... It opens up a lot of ways to use this card. Yeah, Obelisk of Power, don't know how good this is. Like I said, upon summon and if it's destroyed, you grant the strongest ally +2 attack. You can play this on turn 1, obviously, because you don't have a follower or a unit on the board in general, and it makes it pretty bit bad. Let's see on here if we have some more cards to look into. No, we don't. August 25th is only some days away, and we will jump into the other cards now. And here we are back with a total of 24 new cards. Probably most of them are tokens, but we'll see about that. So the Servitude of the Desolation, we talked about it. Unleashed Energy is this card that will either give you the +2/+1 this round or the 4+4/+2 if you kill an allied landmark with it. Really solid card, and a gain 4 attack for 3 mana is quite strong. We have seen it with Target with a Noxus, such a high attack boost. But the fact that it also gives you 2 HP is really significant as well. So pretty good card in decks where you want to destroy your landmarks anyways. Then we have the Sands here. It's a 5-mana 5/4 with Fearsome. And it says play effect, draw 1. If you draw a landmark, repeat this effect. Ooh. That's decent. That's really, really decent. Like, you get this close to vanilla stat line unit. Like, the 4 health is a bit bad. But the fact that it cycles itself is really important to notice here. And the fact that you can even draw 2 from it if you have a landmark makes this a really viable addition in landmarks decks where you want to have some mid-range power. And you also don't want to use to give up your card advantage. You just draw 2 sometimes, and the one draw is definitely a thing that will happen. I definitely love the art there, and I will try to fit this in within some decks. But the fact that Rune Run exists makes me think that this is maybe a card that won't see that much play like it probably should. But maybe we'll see a Rune Run nerf in the future. Let's see. Then we have the Ruinous Acolyte, which is a 2-mana 2/1 with Fearsome. It says play effect, destroy an allied landmark to grant allied Ruinous Acolytes everywhere +1/+1. How good is this? So it comes in like a 3/2 body with Fearsome. So it has the vanilla stat line because it's granting itself, right? It's all allied Ruinous Acolytes, so him included will have the +1/+1. I love that we have the sort of Marauder-ish card that will boost every copy of it in the deck and everywhere. I just don't know how reliably you can do this destroying your own landmarks thing on and on again. So maybe how often you want to do this. Maybe we need some more cheap landmarks that will want to get destroyed. Like, for example, the Sarcophagus is, I think, one of the most important cards that will come out of the Endless Devout here. So this is something you want to destroy, so you don't have to wait for the countdown. You can just kill it and then get the Restored Devout, which is this 1-mana 5/4 with Fearsome here that comes out then. Alright, then we have the Construct of Desolation, which is a 1-mana burst speed spell, and it says create a Ruinous Acolyte, so yet again, this 2-mana follower that we talked about a second ago, or an Obelisk of Power. So the other landmark here that can get destroyed, but will grant attack 2 times. So if you have a deck where you want to play with these Ruinous Acolytes a lot, this is definitely an inclusion, because you just get more copies of the Ruinous Acolyte. But like I said, we need a ton of landmarks that want to be destroyed with this, and I don't see the card pool so far. If I peek over at all the other cards here, I don't think we have enough landmarks to make the Ruinous Acolyte really work. I have to go back and look at the pool of landmarks that are existing in the game, if we can actually make a Ruinous Acolyte deck. And then we have yet another 3-mana 3/3, but with Overwhelm. Really solid stat line at that. And it says when an allied landmark is destroyed, grant me +1/+1. Okay. That's really good. If you compare this to the Iron Ballista, this is the direct power creep, and I mean, it has a condition, right? You need to destroy a landmark, but the Ballista has a 4/3 body, and this is a 4/4, and the fact that it has 1 more HP is actually very significant. The step from 3 to 4 HP is actually makes you so you survive a lot of things. A lot of 2-drops have 3 attack, a lot of spells have 3 damage, like Get Excited, for example, and Wastewalker will just flow around that if you have destroyed an allied landmark. But the problem is that the Wastewalker has to see it, right? You just don't just only destroy a landmark and then all your Wastewalkers have +1/+1. But really solid follower for sure. Then we have the Herald of the Magus. It's a 5-mana 4/4, pretty understated, but it says when I'm summoned, if you have destroyed 4+ allied landmarks this game, grant your champions everywhere +2/+2 and Overwhelm. Whoa, wait a second. When I'm summoned, this is a summon effect. If you've destroyed 4+ allied landmarks this game, you can resummon this dude. And every time you do that, you grant all your champions +2/+2. Ooh, holy smokes. That's a really strong effect, and if you build the right deck around it, I can see this being a very scary card. Oh no, I see it. It's Rune Runner 2.0. It's the Damaging the Unbound. It's a 7 mana, 7/6 body, and it has Spell Shield and Overwhelm. I mean, it's probably more balanced than Rune Runner, because for 2 more mana, you get +1 attack and +2 health. So it's basically pretty bad if you directly compare it to Rune Runner. I think at this point they just have to give Rune Runner 1 less attack, and then it's sort of balanced. Because if you have this heavy investment of 7 mana, I think it's okay to have this thick-ass body, which is the 7/6. But also if you compare it to the Alpha White Claw, this is, I think Overwhelm will be back with, you know, if you have Sejuani and Renekton and all these Overwhelm units, you have Rune Runner, and then you have the Damaging the Unbound. So you can even curve out the Alpha White Claw, and the Damaging the Unbound has the same stat line with the Overwhelm, but for 1 more mana you get the Spell Shield, so it's directly more powerful than the Alpha White Claw in that sense. Yeah, really scary card, I gotta admit here. This is a hell of a dude that you don't want to deal with. And then we have the Risen Altar, which is a 6 mana, 6 mana landmarks. Yeah, it gives me some vibes of landmarks that aren't viable at all. But let's see what it does. It countdown 3, so you even have to wait until round 9. Or when I'm destroyed. Okay, but you can destroy it. Summon a Damaging the Unbound. Oh, never mind. Erase all that stuff that I said about Damaging the Unbound before. It's a token card. So you can only create it out of the Risen Altar. But, hell, dude, like, if this makes it even so that this dude costs 6, actually. So you play the Risen Altar, and then you destroy it with something like the Ruinous Acolyte, or with the Unleashed Energy, for example. So it's all about destroying your landmarks, and this even gives you a big dude out of it. So probably this will even be a landmark that's viable. And if you have Talia and double up on this, or even you have this, what's it called? The Promising Future, where you can double up on 7/6s with Overwhelm and Spell Shield. It's not like the Frostguard Thrall, where you have 8/8s with Overwhelm without Spell Shield, because they can be stunned. You just copy multiple Damaging the Unbounds with multiple Risen Altars that will get the Promising Future on it. Extremely scary, definitely. And then we have the Rite of the Arcane, which is... Okay, why is this... they made it so it's 3 times here, because it can be Rite of the Arcane with the full text, then with the only Destroy a Landmark thing, then with the Destroy a Gem thing, and then with the same thing with Xerath signature card, Rite of the Arcane. So technically it's only 1 card, but there are 6 of it here. Pretty interesting that Rite of the Arcane is actually a signature spell, because I think none of the other Ascendants have their Rite as their signature card, but here we have it. Really solid signature card for him, definitely, and makes him way better and easier to level up, because he needs to destroy 4 landmarks, and you can destroy 1 with his signature spell now, and even deal 4 damage to any unit on the board. So extremely decent champion, and the design of this self-destroying thing is also very interesting, and I definitely will look into this. So yeah, that's that. That's the whole release for today. A shit ton to talk about. That's why it was again yet another very long video. If you want to also see the last reaction, which will come tomorrow, definitely consider subscribing up here. And if you want to see all the other reactions, there is a playlist for that. And I thank you guys very much for watching. Leave a like, and thank you everyone, and I'll see you on the next one. You're still legendary. Blood out.